Professor Zale, Nobel Prize.
The idea of the play came...
Our independence! My understanding, you see...
On le trou.
Instead of this...
they were ready to sacrifice.
Changes which are to come.
Top 10 African intellectual giants. Number 10, Ahmed Zale. Ahmed Hassan Zale was an Egyptian chemist known as the father of femtochemistry. He was awarded the 1999 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his work on femtochemistry and became the first Egyptian to win a Nobel Prize in a scientific field and the second African to win a Nobel Prize in chemistry. He was a Linus Pauling Chair Professor of Chemistry, a Professor of Physics, and the Director of the Physical Biology Center for Ultra-Fast Science and Technology at the California Institute of Technology. Zale's groundbreaking work in the fields of femtochemistry allowed scientists to study chemical reactions on extremely short timescales, down to femtoseconds. His research had a profound impact on our understanding of chemical reactions and laid the foundation for advances in various fields, including chemical physics, physical chemistry, and materials science. Zale's success and recognition inspired many young scientists in Africa and the Arab world to pursue careers in science. He was seen as a symbol of what could be achieved through dedication, hard work, and scientific excellence. Number 9, Amama Aidoo. Amama Aidoo was a Ghanaian author, poet, playwright, politician, and academic. She was Secretary for Education in Ghana from 1982 to 1983 under Jerry Rawlings' PNDC administration. Her first play, The Dilemma of a Ghost, was published in 1965, making Aidoo the first published female African dramatist. As a novelist, she won the Commonwealth Writers' Prize in 1992 with the novel Changes. Her literary works have had a significant impact on African literature. She is known for her novels, plays, and poetry that explore various social, political, and cultural themes in Africa. Aidoo is a prominent feminist and has used her writing to advocate for women's rights and gender equality in Africa. Beyond her literary contributions, Aidoo was an active advocate for social and political causes. She spoke out against injustices and used her platform to address issues like post-colonialism, neo-colonialism, and cultural imperialism. She received numerous awards and honors for her literary achievements. Number 8, Mafi J. Archibald Boyce Mwabisi Mafi J, commonly known as Mafi J, was a South African anthropologist and activist. He became a professor at various universities in Europe, North America, and Africa. In exile, Mafi J participated in anti-apartheid activism. His work in anthropology was closely tied to his political activism, and he used his scholarship as a tool to critique the social and economic structure that underpinned the apartheid system in South Africa. He was particularly interested in land ownership and resource allocation issues, and argued that apartheid was built on the foundation of unjust land distribution and exploitation. He was known for his critiques of colonialism, apartheid, and other forms of oppression in Africa. He was critical of Western academic traditions and argued for developing an African-centered approach to social theory and anthropology. Mafi J engaged critically with the discipline of anthropology, highlighted its historical ties to colonialism and its impact on the representation and understanding of African societies. Number 7, Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah was a Ghanaian politician, political theorist, and revolutionary. He was the first Prime Minister and President of Ghana, an influential advocate of Pan-Africanism. Nkrumah was a founding member of the Organization of African Unity and winner of the Lenin Peace Prize from the Soviet Union in 1962. Under Nkrumah, Ghana played a leading role in African international relations during the decolonization period. Nkrumah played a pivotal role in the decolonization and independent movements in Africa during the mid-20th century. Nkrumah was a prolific writer and thinker. He authored several books and essays, including Africa Must Unite, and Conscientism, which outlined his vision for a united Africa. These writings provided a theoretical foundation for his political actions and the Pan-African movement. He recognized the importance of gender equality and the role of women in the struggle for African liberation. He advocated for women's rights and their active participation in politics and development. Nkrumah's ideas and leadership had a significant impact not only in Africa, but also on the global stage. He was well respected internationally and collaborated with other world leaders, furthering his influence and the African cause. Number 6, Julius Nyerere. Julius Nyerere was a Tanzanian anti-colonial activist, politician, and political theorist. He was Tanzania's prime minister and first president, ideologically an African nationalist. Nyerere promoted a political philosophy known as Ujamaa. Nyerere gained widespread respect as an anti-colonialist across Africa. His vision for a united, self-reliant, and socialist Africa made him a prominent figure in the Pan-African movement. Nyerere was a highly educated and intellectually accomplished leader. His intellectual capabilities allowed him to articulate and defend his vision for Tanzania and Africa on both national and international stages. He was a strong advocate for African unity and played a prominent role in the formation of the Organization of African Unity, OAU. He believed that African nations should work together to overcome their shared challenges and reduce dependence on foreign powers. Nyerere's Ujamaa ideology emphasized social justice and equality. He aimed to reduce income inequality and promote the welfare of the rural poor through policies like villagization, which sought to improve living conditions in rural areas. He advocated for the preservation and promotion of African languages and cultures, recognizing their importance in national identity and development. His writings and speeches are continuously studied and referenced by scholars and policy makers interested in African politics, development, and social justice. Number 5, Cheikh Anta Diop. Cheikh Anta Diop was a Senegalese historian, anthropologist, physicist, and politician who studied the human races, origins, and pre-colonial African culture. Diop's work is considered foundational to the theory of Afrocentricity. The questions he posed about cultural bias in scientific research contributed greatly to the post-colonial turn in the study of African civilizations. Diop was a staunch advocate for the recognition and celebration of African cultural and historical identity. He emphasized the importance of African people embracing their own history and culture, countering Eurocentric views that marginalize Africa's contributions towards civilization. He is renowned for his work in Egyptology. He argued that ancient Egypt should be seen as an African civilization, a perspective that challenged prevailing views that portrayed Egypt as part of the Middle East. His extensive research and publication on African history, culture, and linguistics had a profound impact on African studies. He was a proponent of Pan-Africanism, advocating for unity and collaboration among African nations. His ideas and writings contributed to the intellectual foundation of the Pan-African movement. Number 4, Chinua Achebe. Chinua Achebe was a Nigerian novelist, poet, and critic who is regarded as a central figure of modern African literature. His first novel and magnum opus, Things Fall Apart, occupies a pivotal place in African literature and remains the most widely studied, translated, and read African novel. Often referred to as the father of African literature in English, in 2007, Achebe won the Man Booker International Prize. His works have been extensively analyzed and a vast body of scholars globally. His writing style and narrative techniques were groundbreaking through his writing. He explored the complexities of pre-colonial and post-colonial African societies, shedding light on their traditions, beliefs, and the impact of colonialism. Achebe emphasized the importance of African identity and self-representation. He argued that Africans should have the agency to tell their own stories and shape their own narratives. His legacy is celebrated annually at the Chinua Achebe Literary Festival. Number 3, Ali Mazrui. Ali Al-Amin Mazrui was a Kenyan academic professor and political writer on African and Islamic studies and North-South relations. He was born in Mombasa, Kenya. His positions included Director of the Institute of Global Cultural Studies at Barrington University, New York, and Director of the Center for Afro-American and African Studies at the University of Michigan. Mazrui was a highly respected scholar with a prolific body of work. He authored numerous books, articles, and documentaries on a wide range of topics related to Africa, including its history, politics, culture, and international relations. He was known for his interdisciplinary approach to African studies. Mazrui did not shy away from addressing some of the most pressing and controversial issues facing the African continent, such as neocolonialism, the impact of globalization, and the challenges of post-colonial governance. His critical analysis and willingness to tackle difficult subjects earned him respect. Number 2, Wole Soyinka. Wole Soyinka is a Nigerian playwright, novelist, poet, and essayist in the English language. He is the recipient of the 1986 Nobel Prize in Literature. He is considered in Africa and internationally as one of the greatest minds on the continent. In December 2017, he was awarded the Europe Theatre Prize in the Special Prize category for his contribution to the realization of cultural events that promote understanding and the exchange of knowledge. His literary works are celebrated for their depth, creativity, and social relevance. Soyinka is considered one of the pioneers of modern African drama. His plays such as Death and the King's Horseman and The Man Died, Prison Notes tackle significant social and political issues in Africa and have made a lasting impact on the world of theater. As an intellectual, Soyinka engages in rigorous discourse and critical thinking. He has written extensively on various topics, including African culture, politics, and identity. His essays and speeches contribute to the intellectual debate on African issues. He has played a significant role in promoting African culture and heritage on the global stage. His work has helped shed light on the richness and diversity of African cultures and traditions. Number 1. Steve Biko. Bantu Stephen Biko was a South African anti-apartheid activist. He was at the forefront of a grassroots anti-apartheid campaign known as the Black Consciousness Movement during the late 1960s and 1970s. His ideas were articulated in a series of articles published under the pseudonym Frank Talk. Biko believed that well-intentioned white liberals failed to comprehend the black experience and often acted in a paternalistic manner. He developed a view that to avoid white domination, black people had to organize independently. Biko believed that black people needed to rid themselves of any sense of racial inferiority, an idea he expressed by popularizing the slogan, "Black is beautiful." Steve Biko was a major proponent of the Black Consciousness Movement, which aimed to empower black South Africans by instilling a sense of pride and self-worth in their identity. He emphasized the importance of black people taking control of their own destiny and not relying on white authorities for their liberation. This concept resonated with many black South Africans and had a significant impact on the anti-apartheid struggle. Biko's ideas and contributions have gained recognition beyond South Africa. He is celebrated internationally as an icon of the struggle for racial equality and social justice.